Main ideas about these guidelines is, of course, that it would help Finnish museums in their daily work. But of course, these guidelines can be used to all heritage institutions when they are digitizing. You can take pictures of original objects, whether it's archive or picture or museum objects. If you don't take care of these color corrections and are really sure that you are taking pictures of the actual colors, you can miss and have some problems about these pictures later.
So it's not just about file formats or about compression, all this, but the capture is essential, and that's something that that it's well explained on the guide. And we need knowledge on this. We need to understand what are the objects we digitize. Otherwise, it's very difficult to think in terms of quality if we don't have a good understanding of this heritage.
And of course, digital cultural heritage is an integral component for enhancing trust in science by facilitating the research, preservation, protection, ladies and gentlemen, and authentic documentation of cultural heritage knowledge for academic and public engagement. All this together, it comes now. Why do we digitize? Because today is for you to get the message how important it is, the results of this study, but also to keep a record of the paradata and metadata, the information, to create the knowledge, because we are digitized. Don't forget, it's all about the memory twin is, as we say here and as we believe, not the digital twin. The digital twin is coming from the engineers. It's coming from the car industry. It's coming from the mechanical engineering. We are in the humanities. We are in the social sciences. And we are dealing with memory, with the digitization of the past, to keep a record of that in a high quality for the future generations to come. And of course, to protect, but also for identity reasons. It's all about to prove that this belongs to us, that this is our treasure, that this comes from our fathers. And if we manage that, then Europeana is not going to be the digital library of Europe. It's going to be the Alexandria library of the world, if we manage. Thank you very, very much.
Controls the present, controls the past. And I feel like we are at a point where we're, as archivists, we have this opportunity to save the past for the future. And how accurately we do that also reflects on how the future will be able to interpret it.
The cultural heritage institutions need support. They are demanding and they are appreciating to be supported in building their capacity, in having knowledge about standards, guidelines, resources, tools for metadata and the data creation, management and sharing. And to data and metadata now, with the advent of the 3D, we can also start thinking about a new concept that is a paradata, the data that are contain data and metadata to tell how the digital representation has been produced. University of Technology, and paid with the taxpayers' money because it was a tender launched by the European Union. So it is a property of each of us. We own the VG study, that is a rich study telling stories, examples, technical information on how to do a high quality 3D digitization.
Part of the activities we started last year 3D is very much at the core of now what Europeana and the data space are working on. So it means, for example, streamlining 3D as part of the existing infrastructure. So what do we need to do to upgrade our services to better handle 3D data, whether it's in terms of aggregation of data, but also publication of 3D. But it also means developing new mechanisms to bring 3D to new audiences. So, for example, how education can use 3D. And it's also bring us into also developing building capacity for the cultural heritage sector in getting to know a bit better 3D and what it requires in terms of skill. Europe and why 3D matters more specifically for cultural heritage and digital cultural heritage. First, it's really a question of access, where 3D application or application based on 3D material offers new opportunities for heritage institutions to reach wider audiences with new types.
I think we are really in exciting times because indeed this entire new world of 3D is very much complex, because certainly we know that to create a 3D model for a big archaeological site is a very complex activity, but also to showcase this model is very complex.